Well, I'm Jason.
And I'm Jules.
And we doing Filmographies.
Oh my God, Julian.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
What?
It's time for a new person.
Yeah.
And it's one of our guys. Julian and I, both of us, liked this guy, I think, when we were teenagers, maybe.
Actually, it would have been in my 20s, actually.
Don McKellar.
Yeah, Don McKellar.
Tell me some things about
Canada's,
Don McKellar.
Bronson Pinchot.
Don McKellar, born August 17th, 1963, is a Canadian actor, writer, playwright, and filmmaker. He was part of a loosely affiliated group of filmmakers to emerge from Toronto, known as the Toronto New Wave. He's known for directing and writing the film Last Night, which you are in love with, as well as the screenplays for films like 32 short films about Glenn Gould, The Red Violin, and Blindness. That is the Wikipedia entry for Don McKellar.
On the Don McKellar official fan site.
Ooh, fuck yeah. Give me that juice.
It says Don has worked with many acclaimed directors, actors, and writers.
Yeah.
Including David Cronenberg, Fernando Meirelles, Park Chan-wook, Robert Downey Jr., Olivier Assayas.
Oh, sure.
Bruce McDonald, Adam Agoyan, Maury Chaykin,
Sarah Pauli,
Molly Parker, my boy Callum Keith Rennie.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's in Last Night. He's the car guy. He was on 24, I think. Even Jude Law, Mark Ruffalo, Julianne Moore, Samuel L. Jackson.
I think a lot of those people are from Blindness. Samuel Jackson's Red Violin.
And working on numerous occasions with his, I'm sorry to hear that, late wife, fellow actor Tracy Wright. Roadkill. 1989.
Yes, his first movie.
Yeah, he wrote it and acted in it.
He's got a nice part. Directed by Bruce McDonald, who also does Highway 61. He's part of the Toronto New Wave. He's got hardcore logo. He did quite a bit.
Bruce McDonald, speaking of the devil, the original plan for this film was going to be a concert film focusing on the actual band, A Neon Rome.
Is that the band in the movie?
No, the band in the movie is Children of Paradise.
No, I meant in real life, though.
Well, I don't know, because apparently while he was trying to make this movie, the lead singer, Neil Arbic, was very uncooperative during the tour that it was planned to be, the film was planned to focus on. I think it was like the recording of their third record. Arbic eventually left the music industry before the film could get made and before his band's planned second album could even be released, which I think they were touring on, and then they were going to do the third one or whatever.
And this informed the movie he made, right?
Yeah, so instead of doing that, McDonald based the film on a portrayal of this actual band as they collapsed. It says in a similar manner, but I doubt they met such a grisly fate in reality. I remembered the first, 10 minutes of this movie, and I didn't remember the majority of it until the very, very end. It just all completely washed over me.
I mean, that makes sense. Although I do find there's some memorable stuff in here that I liked.
Yeah, some of it, it's hard to get behind. The acting, it's hit or miss.
I find this movie to be about 50%, man, I'm into this and I'm having a good time and I like these types of movies. This is cool. And the other 50%, I'm like, this is like if Dead Man was boring.
And then there's like a small secret percentage in there where you're just like, is she like trying to date these people? Like, what is this weird attraction to these men? And did she have sex with a 15-year-old? Did they do it? It seemed like they were doing it. He's 15. The tagline for this movie is a rock and road movie about a girl who learns to drive. I don't know how much money it made, but it had an estimated budget of Canadian dollar $250,000.
Oh, that's kind of a lot.
Mm-hmm. The only other... Well, no, I'm not even going to bother with this one. This one's so stupid.
Well, now you have to do it because we're like, what's it going to be?
It says the film's soundtrack ended up on the Canadian charts because the people that made this movie sneaked off with copies from the record store shelves. I'm like, are they saying soundtrack charted because the filmmakers stole a bunch of the records?
That's what it sounds like.
But that's not a sale, you know?
I don't know how that works, but maybe it counts.
Like Geffen's going to be like, how many left the store? That's how we.
Well, maybe how they do it is like whatever you order, that counts as a sale. You don't return them, and then if you have to order more because they're gone.
I guess there is a difference between sold through and probably shipped, which maybe they consider sales. And that's all I have.
Roadkill. Ramona Valerie Bahadur is assigned to track down a rogue rock group that stopped making their tour dates by music promoter Roy Seth Jerry Quigley, who demands that they are brought home forthwith. Ramona can't drive, though, so Buddy the cabbie, Larry Hudson, and ex-roadie, who apparently roadied for every famous band of the 20th century, who agrees to drive Ramona for whatever the meter says she owes. Along the way, Ramona finds the band and loses the band. Finds the crew filming a documentary about the band, including the director Bruce McDonald, and leaves the film crew. Finds the lead singer, Matthew, the weenie boy, Sean Bowring, and loses the lead singer. Meets prospective serial killer Russell, Don McKellar, and leaves Russell. Meets 15-year-old greaser Luke, Mark Tarantino, and he gives her his dad's car after they presumably have sex. Oh, and Ramona is at least 20, so... Will Ramona be able to crawl the band for their final show of the tour to make Roy Seth a little money despite his protests of her going through with it? Will Russell realize his dreams of being a well-armed serial mass murderer? Will the quirks ever end? On the road to life, the weak at heart will always be Roadkill.
Yeah, so this movie opens up, with threats of violence towards a innocent rabbit on the road. It's the Winnebago that the film crew is driving.
I think cuts the studio, yeah.
Ben's like on the phone. You motherfuckers.
What are you grunting, you stupid primate? Look, I don't speak this shit. I'm not Dr. fucking Doolittle. Where's Matthew?
Calling him Ben. Mm-hmm. What's his real name? Roy Seth.
He's got a white suit on, his hair slicked back. He's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
And there's just some other lady there, bemused by everything, but not speaking.
Is he on the phone talking about how he's going to fuck you up, get back here?
Mm-hmm. Presumably, I guess, to the band. But yeah. So he looks up and there's Ramona and he goes, hey, you.
I want you to go up there, pack them in the van, and get them back here. Will you do that for me? There's 4 of them. They're fronted by a long-haired, skinny runt named Matthew.
Okay.
Yeah, word.
You don't drive, do you?
No. Well, then what the fuck?
Well, you're not much help then, are you? You're totally useless, aren't you? Forget it. I'll get somebody else to do the job. Make a note of that.
Roy Seth? Mm-hmm. I like your name, and I'm going to go get them.
And he goes, no, and she leaves, though. Yeah. And so she gets on into a cab, and Buddy's the cabbie.
Parents don't seem to like her.
Oh, do we see her parents?
Yeah, when she's leaving her house. It seems like they don't seem... I don't know. They seem nonplussed.
Is she French-Canadian? She sounded very French.
Really?
Could barely understand her.
What?
Majority of the time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I pour a bottle of champagne over their head. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Don McKellar had a little bit of a French thing going on, too. I'm like, where are these people from?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had no issues with them whatsoever.
Her specifically, I was like, what the hell are you saying? But the cab dude is super baller. I love that guy.
So is it really hard to drive or what?
Nah. All you need is a tape deck and a good supply of dope.
Kind of reminds me of the Donald Logue cabbie on MTV. He was did the cabbie commercials.
Ding dong, dong dong. As a taxi driver, it's a pain in the ass. You're coming down the road. These guys take up the middle. They park. You got 60 kids looking for a sucker pop.
He reminds me of a roadie from Wayne's World 2. I feel like there was a roadie like this on there.
So there's me and Keith Moon and David Crosby breaking into this little sweet shop.
It's got a weirdly timeless look, too.
Yeah.
You would think that would be like very specifically 1987, 88 whenever they filmed it, but
yeah, and
I see that guy everywhere ever since I've been born.
He kind of feels like he's around his 30s.
Yeah, he seems young.
Right? Old enough, but way too young to... the stories he's telling.
Right. He's talking about Elvis. Elvis died in 82, I think.
Elvis left the building for the final time on August 16th, 1977.
Well, and he's like, he's clearly Canadian.
Yeah.
But he's telling stories about driving, people around. Elvis comes briefly after the first one, which is sort of maybe believable, but still kind of like, okay. Like Pete Frampton or something.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, he's far too young to have worked with, unless these guys are not in the prime of their careers. I guess it's possible. But he goes, look, you got money? She goes, no, I don't actually.
No problem. I'll take your credit card.
No, wait a minute. You can't take me to Sudbury.
I said no problem.
And then he just starts going off about Jimi Hendrix and...
kidnaps her, basically.
Dizzy Gillespie. Yeah, basically. And she just puts on her headset and falls asleep. And then she wakes up and they're there. And she goes, stop!
Stop the car!
It's at a gas station / diner, right?
Mm-hmm. Because she sees the van.
For the band.
She sees the van, but I didn't get the impression that she would even know what the van would look like.
Yeah, I don't know. And also, it's like a rental van, but it's already been defaced with spray paint.
By them. It says children of, but I didn't think they have enough room to actually put the rest of the name on there.
Really thought out.
Yeah, very much so. And she's urgently trying to get to the van, but as soon as she gets out of the car, she starts stretching and fixing. And it's like, no, you get out and you run.
Well, she doesn't want to get all cramped up. She's got to stretch and get fixed.
And there's some podunk
staring.
Looky-loo. Yeah.
I like him. He's a good face.
Yeah,
he just have in the background. He never does anything.
He's totally Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, just a big old mustache.
And she gets up and the band's passed out or something on the ground, the bassist and the drummer. I
think it's just the drummer. The drummer's passed out in the back of the van.
No, I'm sorry.
She doesn't realize it's the drummer.
That's right. That's right. She opens it up. The drummer is in there. She thinks he's a hobo. She peels him out, closes the van, and then goes into the diner. And that's where she finds the bassist and the guitar player.
And the drummer, I think, talks a little bit crazy, right?
Who do you work for, lady?
It's okay now.
Some government agency?
No.
Huh? Yeah, that's it. Some government agency.
No.
You work for Brian Mulrooney? Getting people, waking them up?
Proto Q.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she's in the restaurant. She's like, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, they're like, oh, okay.
No, she takes the bulls by the horn, but they're just kind of like, what? And then the old lady keeps coming back.
Yeah.
You want cottage cheese?
Well, their needs for food are stupid.
Yeah, but they're living healthy, right? So good on them.
Good on them.
And then the Ramona goes to make a call to
Roy Seth,
and
she explains that they missed the tour dates because the lead singer has vanished.
Oh, they mentioned that. Yeah, he goes on a sabbatical.
He's on a walkabout to discover himself
or God.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and then he's pissed off and is like, "Get him back here."
Yeah,
and she's like, "No."
So she comes back and the band's gone because they told the old lady, "We want it to go, man." And she goes outside. And they're gone.
The cab driver left too because he wanted a piece of pizza.
Exactly. That's right. Because he's just been hanging out outside.
Yeah.
So she comes out and she's like, frick. And I'm thinking, where are the tracks going? Follow the tracks. It's a dirt drive. Just follow the tracks.
What?
And you're right there. Oh, she meets the film crew.
And you say the film crew is following the band?
That's what they said.
Okay. I didn't catch that when I was watching.
They said, yeah, we're following them to film for because the penultimate, well, not the penultimate, the ultimate show is supposed to be like, you're thinking, oh, it's a stadium show or something.
Oh.
I mean, it's most certainly not that.
No.
Once we see it, it's quite underwhelming. But so at first I thought, well, that's a little convenient. Maybe they're just ribbing on her to get her to go with them for nefarious reasons or something. I don't know.
They are slightly creepy.
They are. The one guy's got an eye patch. The other guy's not very good looking.
There's like a ton of them in that van too. There's an interesting.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5. It's hard to tell.
I think there's like 10 of them that time that guy goes to fix something and then goes into the van.
Oh, and it's all weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 10 people in there. And it looks like a horror movie.
So the cabbie returns and he just now waits there until the end of the movie.
Because he said he would.
Exactly. And the meter's still running. So the film crew is like, well, fuck, let's just film stuff along the way so we can get some whatever for the inserts and blah, blah, blah. She goes, well, okay. And they start filming and they're having a real hard day night scenario, kind of doing quirky stuff. And then they crash at a motel and the director, oh, no, I'm sorry. You know what happens? As soon as she comes out of the restaurant and she falls to the ground, all of a sudden the light comes on and
she's being interviewed.
In home movies or something.
Yeah.
Hi, do you mind if we ask you a few questions? Yeah, just look at the camera. Just look. Yeah, that's right. Don't look at me. No, don't. You seem a little upset. What's wrong?
I only have $2.32.
So you're upset because you suddenly become overwhelmed by your poverty.
So then we leap forward, and now the director turns the light on her again in the bedroom. He snaps his finger, and it comes on. And then he's filming the camera, watching him with her sleeping. And the band is doing something weird. They teach her how to drive. She kills an animal. They film it. Eventually she goes, though, look, I got to get out of here. I got to find this band.
And they're like, yeah, we don't care about the band.
Yeah, we're making a movie.
The movie's about you now.
Yeah.
It's sitting on sculptures and doing dumb shit like a completely worthless student
We're going to light up Con like you wouldn't believe it. And he goes, well, you can. And she goes, yeah, I'm going to, though. They steal clothes.
Yeah, she doesn't have any clothes, so they run a hustle. Mm-hmm. They fake interview the lady at the register while his merry band of pranksters unloads all the clothes.
And then we get a montage of her modeling the clothes and doing comedy.
And she's like, I don't even have a toothbrush. Bing! A hand comes on from off screen with a toothbrush for her at one point.
Yeah. And so now she's walking about, and all of a sudden, a boy on a bike cart, comes up. We already know she doesn't have a lot of money, like $250.
Right, because she lost her bag with everything in it.
Because the cabbie drove off with it, but she doesn't know that he came back. And so, this fucking prototypical progenitor of emo, just like, you're not from around here. I don't like you.
What is that? Your emo?
That's Anthony Fantano reviewing the Little Xan record.
And that's the thing. That's the worst thing about this project. It's just Little Xan's voice, his delivery. He sounds like he barely has a pulse half the time.
You know Little Xan?
No.
Xan. He's all fucked up out of his brain.
Yeah, is he dead now? They usually die.
Probably.
Yeah, especially with that fent and everything.
Yeah. It's like you're 19 and you're just a amoeba.
They got fentanyl and cheese now. Yeah.
So the weenie boy, she goes with him. He gives her a hot dog. That's what I wanted to mention. That was the biggest hot dog perhaps ever.
That was a big fat ass hot dog. I have eaten.
It was like a kielbasa.
I bought like jumbo dogs because I was like, oh, cool. I like, hey, extra hot dog.
I like dogs. I'll have more of them instead of having more of them.
It was too big. It was unpleasant. Like,
exactly.
To get your mouth around it, it was unpleasant.
Her dog was so big, you'd have to eat it in quadrants.
Side shots. You don't want to bite from the front. It's too big of a hunk.
Yeah, far too big.
Yeah.
And they're only $250. That's
and she only had $2, and the weenie boy gives it to her without saying a word. The weenie boy doesn't talk.
No, he doesn't speak at all. He kind of looks like Melbourne from the Game Chasers, if anybody out there knows what that means. And so she just starts walking away, and he leaves the bike. They're on like a peninsula between rice paddies or some shit.
Sure, wild rice.
I mean, it's fucking maybe, I don't know, 5 feet wide.
And she's like, don't follow me. I don't know what you want from me. I don't even want to hear it. And then she starts telling her life story.
Yeah, endlessly. And they walk back to what she assumes is Wiener Boy's house.
Because he just wanders right in.
Yeah. And they're hanging. He gets up and he goes into the bathroom and he's going to slit his wrist.
Yeah.
He's just musing about it, though. Total emo shit.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about My Chemical Romance or something. 30 Seconds to Mars. All of a sudden, though, she goes, what are you doing? And he goes, he's pantomiming, hair. She goes, oh, Edward.
You want me to cut your hair?
Yeah. And so she grabs scissors, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
Starts cutting it. And he's looking directly at the camera. It's his big moment.
Yeah.
He's been growing that hair for at least 2.5, 3 years.
Sure.
And he's just like, I'm a fucking actor.
That's a good guesstimate. You're probably right about that hairline.
Yeah. Uh-huh. She just jackknifes him bald,
Yeah.
And he's just a neo-Nazi now, apparently. And she falls asleep.
And he goes and curls up in that bedroom all wiggled up in those blankies.
Yeah. He's really snug.
He looks cozy.
Yeah. He's probably got a Dutch oven going on in there, too. All them wieners. And she wakes up the next morning, and Don McKellar's standing there.
Oh, you're awake now.
Oh, what's going on here, yay?
What are you doing here?
Well, I think I really should be the one asking the questions. This is my house. I live here.
What about Matthew?
I don't know anyone named Matt.
The guy sleeping in that room. The weenie boy.
Is he the one that left his hair on my kitchen floor?
Can I wash your feet for you?
Yeah, and he goes, well, here's coffee, although it's cold, and here's cereal, and it's mushy.
And she's like, I am so sorry. I am this lady, and this is what I'm doing. He's like, I know. I read your diary.
Yeah. Now get dressed, eh? Why am I butt naked?
We're not. Oh, yeah.
I don't have any clothes on.
No, I washed them for you. It's nice to wake up to fresh, clean clothes.
Yeah, he skipped right past, I removed all of your clothes.
Yeah.
Unless maybe she was already naked. No, because she was shocked that she was naked.
But also, she wasn't drunk. So, like.
No, right.
If
you'd
you're
remember.
Like, yeah, if you're normal sleeping, I don't think people can disrobe you.
No. Especially, in a scenario where, you're already on the what do they call that? You're on the back foot because you're in a strange land.
Oh, sure.
So you're only partially sleeping.
Yeah, it fucks up your brain good.
Yeah. So she starts getting dressed underneath the covers and he excuses himself. And he's just packing Glocks and
He's got a lot of guns.
And Tech 9s, Mac 11s. Sorry. He does, and he's putting them in a fucking little briefcase with the foam in it.
Are you talking to me?
Pardon me, were you talking to me, feller?
There does not appear to be anybody else here, so I think that you are talking to me.
Let me double check, though. I don't want to be rude. So he goes, well, hey, how about you? You're a good writer. I know all about you. Don't tell me anything. You write a book about me.
What is your line of work?
I'm a serial killer?
A what?
A serial killer.
Well, I am aspiring.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to do that.
Although it's mass murder.
Yeah.
It's not really serial killing. And so, but she goes with him. And she's driving, and he's a little apprehensive. But he
does tell her he's proud of her driving.
They drink.
Right?
Yeah, they drink on the roof. He's hitting on her. I don't think they do anything. And then she winds up. They go to one of the clubs, hoping that the band had gotten their shit together and found their way home. Because she doesn't know it's Matthew. She just thinks it's some tragic weenie boy that she made a blossoming caterpillar.
And she is enjoying the rock concert. It's a guy in like a
oh my god
luchador mask.
Yeah, his name is like Mr. Static or some bullshit.
I kind of liked it.
I'm doing light industrial.
I was into it, man.
He's got a sock pantyhose thing on his face with grid patterns and.
But then Don McKellar brings her outside.
No, first in a fit of rage, he grabs his jacket and stands up, and she goes, "Relax, relax." He's sitting there, and now we see that he's really visibly upset. And he gets up and he just storms out, and she runs after him. Russell, where are you going? Russell, and he goes, "Get in the car. We're leaving." And she goes, "What? No." And fuck, I can't remember exactly what he says.
What kind of entertainment is that? I thought we were going to go to a nice bar and have a quiet drink. But this, I don't know how you could sit through this. I don't know why people feel they have to go up on stage and put bandages on their face and cause trouble. I don't trust people who put bandages on their face. If he had something to say, why didn't he just say it?
But he goes, "You loved that, didn't you?" Fuck. It was a display of violence. A display of violence!
And you liked it.
It was just an act.
It was an act of violence and you loved it! You loved it!
And it's fucking spins you on a dime. He's hitting those lines.
Because he was really kind of likable, despite being a little bit scary. But this is very, like, abusive boyfriend-husband shit.
He's got a little Elias Koteas going on.
Yeah.
Who himself had a little bit of Robert De Niro going on. And there was a brief moment where he gave me real Keith vibes. I was like, oh my God, it's the spiritual reincarnation of Keith. So she goes, "Look, man, I don't want to roll with you anymore." And he goes,
"Yes, you are."
Fuck. What?
Get in the car.
No. And she walks away. And he comes running around the corner with his hand in his jacket like he's going to pull out a gun and kill her and the movie's going to be over. But he pulls out a business card. He says, "You call me if you're ever in trouble."
There's a lot of weirdos out there. You let me know.
What does he have?
A business card?
A beeper. He says, "I got a beeper." She goes, "Oh, word." And he runs away. He's Dracula.
I like him in this.
Yeah.
There was...
I think chronologically I discovered him in Way Downtown. And I'm like, who is this guy? Which led to me to last night, which led me to this. And man, yeah, I forget how much I really like him. It's weird. But so he gets the hell out of there. So then after the club, she is again stranded. So then she's at the gas station trying to hitch. And there's two young Indian girls in the giggling and looking at her.
Yeah.
Look at this white tramp.
Yeah.
And that's when she meets...
They really are just laughing at her hardcore.
Yeah, they are.
Why are they so rude?
I don't know. I thought they were going to be like, don't go with them.
She's a pretty nice lady. I like her.
Yeah.
She's cool.
She's a real Phoebe in a lot of ways. Aloof, but, free spirit. She meets whatever Bobby Tarantino's name is.
Years before Tarantino became a famous name for somebody else.
Yeah, in fact, I had to look up. Is there any sort of a relation?
No way.
Is this Quentin's dad?
No. Well, he's got a weird relationship with his dad.
I mean, obviously it wouldn't be, though, because it's 1989 and he's 15.
Mm-hmm. But
he's a nobody. He's never in anything ever again.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
This is it for that guy? I actually felt like he had... Well, here, let's do the movie, then I'll talk about how he has presence.
So she agrees to go with him, and he goes, yeah. How? Gets in, and he's driving, and he's just swerving on the road, fishtailing, and what do they call that? Drifting.
Like Ben Gazzara in Roadhouse when he just has fun driving up and down the road.
I don't give a fuck. Or the guy that picks up the preacher in Uncomfortable Truth.
The Unbelievable Truth. He's not a preacher, he's a mechanic.
Yeah. And she goes, well, I'm trying to find this band or whatever, but I mean, what do you guys do for fun around here? And he goes, we all go to the drive-in. She goes, oh, word. I'll do that with you. And he goes, yay. And what they do is they pull into a circle like they're going to have a Lionheart fight.
Yeah.
But instead they awkwardly white dance.
Yeah.
Not to the music that we're hearing. To be clear.
To no music, because it would make it hard to cut it together.
Exactly. And she stops all of a sudden in amidst the chaos of dancing and writhing. And she just looks all around her and takes it all in. And then she just starts flailing, boy. And then it cuts away. It actually, what do they call that? When one transitions into the other and it's a soft sort of one part of it's vanishing and the other one's coming in. It's like a
Sasaman.
Yeah.
That's not good, right?
A wipe? Not a wipe. I don't know what the fuck. It's transitioning from one to the other. The dance party to her and the boy slow dancing.
They Sasaman the frames.
And I guess everybody else has now retreated into their cars and they're fucking, right?
They might not be fucking. They might just be fooling around.
Necking?
I mean, at 15, you might be pretty happy to be making out and touching a boob.
They're naping.
Not me.
I'm over there crying. Oh.
Jules, shut up and watch. That's what I say. I'm showing you how to do it.
It is a real drive-in, but it's not an operational drive-in. FYI. So then they go into the car, I guess, and it's the morning and they're the only car there. And she gets out and writes, a note and leaves it on the windshield. Starts walking away. Walks out of the drive-in and the kid just comes ripping up. He gets out.
I want you to have my car.
I can't take your car.
It's okay, it's my dad's.
Okay.
She leaves and then calls up Seth Roy.
This might be Roy Seth.
Roy Seth. And it's like, look, I know how to market this now and I'm going to get the band here and we're going to play this show.
And we're going to record it.
And you're going to make money.
With this... I'm going to find that film troupe, right? Is that part of her plan? I make that up?
Yeah, it is. And she does. They're filming an old woman dancing in front of a waterfall, a man-made waterfall, a viaduct. Her plan is they're playing in Thunder Bay. Tarantino and his greaser friends are going to show up at the club. The film crew is going to be there to record it. Don McKellar is invited for some reason, I guess to murder. Because she does mention, why do mass murder? Why not just kill one famous person?
It does very much seem like he was arranged to come there. After he starts shooting, it seems like, oh, spoiler.
Oh, yeah. So here's another thing. I don't know if you caught this. There's a news report on in the background, and they mention how roadkill has been vanishing.
Yeah, what's that about? People are eating it?
Slightly start to mention the Wiener Boy brand, whatever he worked for.
He's got roadkill hot dogs?
They do suggest that.
Is that why them tubes are so fat?
Mm-hmm.
Full of so much rotten meat? Nice.
So the band, it turns out that Wiener Boy is Matthew. They said he had long hair. He kind of did, but
yeah, he had long hair.
The guitar player had much longer hair.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe he was the real guy, but he was just fucking with her.
Yeah.
She kidnaps the band, gets them there.
I suspected it was going to be... When we were rolling into this, I suspected that Matthew was the lead singer, but I was also like, I don't know, nothing else really leads me to believe that to be true other than the fact that he's one of the characters she met, and it very much seems at the end like everybody's going to converge on the spot.
Yeah, because she says when she's writing, that boy, he's on a sojourn, much like that guy's hair. Hey, the Wiener Boy's Matthew.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's like...
His hot dogs taste so good.
Yes. And we see him periodically throughout the movie doing dumb stuff. Is he the one laying in the road with a sack on his head?
I'm not sure what's up with that sack.
We don't see who it is.
I thought that was a trap. Like somebody would stop and then get hurt.
I thought it was like just run over me. Okay, so the band's playing and Matthew's just like speaking now. He's like...
I wanted to say that I've been doing this rock and roll thing for quite a long time.
Oh man, this shit's a bummer, bro. And
There's something that happens when you're a rock and roll singer and you realize you no longer believe in rock and roll.
It gets quite hard when you're doing something you don't believe in anymore.
And there's a real Debbie Mazar type girl in the audience.
You bring her up a lot, and I don't even like Debbie Mazar.
Shut the fuck up and sing. It's like, which one is it? And I mean, they're boom, 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 boom. You know, they're leading into it. Something in the way.
But then they have to restart it, and he keeps talking.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, shut up, dude. And all of a sudden, quick-ow, he gets shot in the chest.
I thought he was really going to rock out.
I did too. I thought it was going to be like a momentous rock thing.
Yeah. Speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been so rad.
Something. But he's dead. He's laying on the ground dead, and he's holding the microphone. It looks like a Kids in the Hall sketch.
You're a girl drink drunk.
And then all of a sudden, you see the gun just floating in midair. And cow, and it shoots somebody else. Cow, and it shoots guy working the door.
Well, no.
It's just shooting everybody.
No, okay, so Don McKellar kills...
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right.
The singer. Don McKellar comes in like he's meant to be
Yes.
there, and he kills him, and he's real happy about it and smiley like he's done his job.
The whole time we see Ramona sitting somewhere, and it looks like she's... come to grips with what's happening and is not shocked at all. So I'm assuming she called him to come kill this guy. And he is dead. But then all of a sudden, Don McKellar explodes.
And it's like, wait, who killed Don McKellar?
He falls back and to the left.
Back and to the left.
And then we see the gun. It's like a little fucking... Kind of feels like a 22, but maybe it's a 32.
This guy,
And
cars, guns,
it's nickel plated.
trains.
And he's dying. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 everybody's just getting blasted.
Everybody.
The band.
And then the...
randos.
Like the Bruce McDonald, it seems like he's going to be okay, and then he gets shot.
He's shot multiple times. Pop, 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 pop.
Every single person in there but the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Our main character.
Yeah. And then we see it's Seth Roy. He's, I don't know, the devil?
I don't know. And then he sees her, and she's like, hey, and he's like,
Ramona, tomorrow morning at the office, 9 o'clock.
You think he's the devil?
I don't know, man. So he leaves. Apparently there's no consequences for this.
Yeah, what happens from this point on? 'Cause
She gets on the stage. She puts her jacket over Wiener Boy's head and grabs the microphone.
And the bar has filled back in with the patrons that were there earlier.
Apparently those people never fled. Apparently everybody that we see fleeing isn't this group of people.
But is that really what's... It seems like this is...
Tarantino gets killed too. He gets shot and dies. And she just goes... something to the effect of, are you ready to rock?
Are you feeling all right? Yeah! Let me hear you say yeah.
Yeah! Yeah! And then the credits and music ends.
She goes, my name is Luca. Mm-hmm. She's doing like a Suzanne.
My name is Luca. Your penis makes me puka.
The credits roll?
Yeah.
She never rocks?
Oh, I'm sorry. Briefly.
Uh-huh.
We see the cabbie again.
Oh,
and
okay, and
Joey Ramone shows up.
And is that Dee Dee Ramone next to him
Yes.
too, who has no lines?
Mm-hmm.
And they do the whole Ramone story. Hey man, can you give us a ride? We need you to be our driver.
Yeah.
I'd love to take you, but I can't. I brought this girl up here. It's like a point of honor. She seems so vulnerable and dumb. All her stuff's in the back.
It's sacred. Promise.
It's like a cabbie thing.
But buddy, you're our favorite taxi driver.
And he gives them the stuffed animal that the kids that shot him with BB gun bullets give to him. And he goes, this fucking thing's going to guide you, man.
Okay, man, that's pretty cool.
All right, then.
When I saw this, what I thought to myself was...
I wonder who they got. That's what I thought.
What?
I wonder who they got to be that.
To be the Ramones?
Yeah.
It's the Ramones.
I know it is. I looked it up immediately thereafter. I was like, oh, it was really them.
That is very cool.
I don't know what the fuck those cretins look like.
I was thinking, like, how bad of a time was it having the Ramones on set with you? They were on drugs hard, like a lot, constantly. Like, okay. I think like cough syrup and everything. I think they're just on everything. I think Dee Dee Ramone was a hardcore speed freak. He might have been one of the last to die. One of them died. I don't know. But I feel like you'd be excited to have the Ramones, and then it would be weird and uncomfortable because Dee Dee Ramone doesn't even have any lines.
Well, but I mean, you think that they were in Canada?
They toured constantly. I'm pretty sure the Ramones spent their entire life touring.
Sure.
Touring.
Because I don't think we ever see them with the cabbie. It's always one shot Is it? Do we ever see them together?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I mean, I'm almost just wondering, like, oh, did they grab this somewhere? Like, why? You know, I guess if they were touring and Bruce apparently is a fixture in the rock scene, they should have had a sister named Nina Ramone.
I see what you're doing.
That would have been funny.
She sings the Cool Fruit.
So the movie's over and nobody gives a shit.
Did you get my strange fruit joke?
I did, and it was odd.
Yeah, I tried to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Nina Simone. I mean, what do you think about this movie? Honestly, I liked it, and then I got bored, and then I liked it, but I got bored. Like, I liked its vibe, but it was not great.
Yeah, I don't know where you could have cut. Maybe, honestly, the Tarantino shit, she could have just gotten a car somehow.
See, and
to trim it a bit.
I felt like the same thing about the director. Like, I enjoyed all the Don McKellar stuff.
That too.
But I felt like you could have chopped that down. I feel like you need 2 more people for her to run into, and then limit the amount of time she spends with them.
Yeah.
Because
maybe beef up the wiener boy. Just a smidge.
I don't know. I kind of think that section was actually perfect. I didn't have any problem with that.
And maybe replace the main actor.
I like her, but I honestly, the moment when I really liked it when Don McKellar woke her up and we find out that was not the Wiener Boy's house and he is gone.
And
it's baffling. I thought about that for a long time. Like, I would be saying things like, so do you know him?
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
And he says, I don't. But it's weird because he's like upset, but he's also cool.
Yeah, he's super nice about it.
But he's also like, you should get ready to leave though, you know. But then he's like, I'm a murderer, you know. So he's like kind of vacillating all over the place a little bit. But yeah, you know, this movie, I'm going to just jump right into my score.
Okay. This is a 5.5 because that's my score.
Oh, okay.
I cut you off.
Yeah, you did.
I thought about it the whole time I was watching this movie, what my score would be.
I'm going to give it a 2.
Oh, shit.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
It's I can see now why maybe I only remembered the bookends.
Fucking for sure, dude.
You know, you just get lost, especially if you're stoned and not paying attention.
It's pretty wildly uninteresting for the most part.
Yeah. It's not really well made, but
it's charming.
It is very charming.
But it's boring.
It is very boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Don's good. The director actually was pretty good too.
Yeah.
And I love the cabbie, the character. The main lady was good, but there were certain things that I just thought, like, I don't know about that. And then I really love Ben. He was great.
I feel bad for the cabbie lady because it's like she's got the whole movie on her shoulders, but like it's not interesting enough. I feel like she's laying it down just fine, but like the story around her isn't quite good enough.
Is she in Highway 61?
She is.
Yeah, I thought so, looking at the small thumbnail for the box art.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave it a 5. You gave it a 5.5.
Yeah, I don't.
I could almost give it a 6, to be honest. But I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever see it again.
No, so. I don't want to give it that because I do find it boring. But I also at the same time like, good job, guys. Like you made a whole road movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's one of those slightly boring road movies.
Yeah, it's the kind of movie where it's very amateurish, so they just fill it with shit.
Yeah.
Hoping like to pad it a little bit.
You need to have like it's
like very loose structure.
It's like that Sigourney Weaver movie that we haven't talked about yet in the podcast, Madman, where it's like, oh man, we have all these people and we bounce around, but nothing is interesting.
And it weaves in and out of reality, but it's more in reality than out of it, I feel. So kind of like, okay, it's weird now, but
I will vote for Don McKellar. I will say that section's good. I like the Weenie Boy initially. I'm mildly intrigued by the ending. I'm very bored by the director. I'm like, I don't know. There's like long stretches where I just don't care. And it was the next movie we're about to talk about. I felt like weirdly enough flew by because I watched these one after another.
Yeah,
that one flew by. This and it's longer than this one. And this movie fucking dragged. And
that one almost feels like a Thief vibe or something. Not like the content of the story.
I was thinking about the fire.
Just the fucking pacing. It's relentless. It doesn't welcome you in, but it eventually reveals kind of what's going on.
I was a bit drunk when I started the movies. So like,
I was too.
Well, here we'll get into it. Yeah. But I'm
what are you giving Don on this bad boy? This is his first.
Right. Can I be honest?
Please be.
And I feel dumb doing this, but I'm gonna give him a 7 because I find him likable and scary and interesting and compelling.
Yeah.
And I feel like we come into these movies front loaded with liking these characters. So maybe we give him more points than we should.
Yeah, very true.
I fucking dug him in this, dude. And like, I was so excited to see him, and I wasn't let down by the performance.
Yep.
And I was interested in it. Maybe it's stupid when he kills everybody at the end, when he kills, I guess, just the singer, because Ben kills everybody else, Seth Roy. But
And I'm going to give him an 8.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Because I'm high on him right now.
Okay.
And I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was nice to be back. And that's that. Thus begins our journey. And
into our
Don
homeboy,
McKellar.
Don McKellar.
Yeah. And it's a pretty decent start, right? It's an indie film. It's from the 90s.
It's interesting, 89.
And he's good. You know.
We can count it.
And,
cool.
and it's like, this is how I wanted to start.
All right, you can find us on Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook. We doing filmographies at gmail.com. You can give us a call at 763-634-1897. Somebody actually did do this. We did get a voicemail the other day, except for then half of the message was, will you be on our podcast?
Well, he's been Jason.
I've been Jules.
Goodbye.
Good night.